much, so we'll go and play Warlock. So I really like Big Game Hunter. I actually kind of want to play with Bane of Doom though. I do like Big Game Hunter. Warlocks do have quite a few cards you can probably end up getting to kill stuff off. Hopefully I can get a lot of Shadow Bolts and things, or Siphon Soul. I'd rather have the exchange, kill off a 2-drop, and summon a creature. I think we want to go that. I like Big Game Hunter quite a bit, but let's play Bane of Doom and see what happens. Damn democracy. Yeah, everybody gets 1 vote. Sorry. So I think the Grunt's a pretty poor card. The Gurubashi's okay. I don't feel like it's that good in a Warlock deck. I'd rather have the cheap Voidwalker, and we're probably going to go pretty aggro. We're basically, the idea in a Warlock deck is your hero power lets you draw cards. So essentially, you want to play 2 cards every turn if you can, and basically try to kill them before you can kill you. So if you only win 4 games in Arena, is it worth it? According to my gold sheet, it's generally not. 4 wins only got me 5 gold, so that one wasn't worth it. 4 wins got me 45 gold and a pack. So basically, on 4 wins on this one, I only lost 5 gold because I basically paid for a pack at a premium of 105 gold. So you can essentially say that I bought 1 pack for 105 gold on this run. 4 wins, only got 5 gold there. I got 55 gold there. Only got 15 gold there. So most of the time, 4 wins in Arena is not going to be worth it. And hey, if you want to look at the spreadsheet, it's on my info. If you scroll down on the info page, it's right there. So we're going to pick up Voidwalker. Gives us some, basically lets us be aggro. Yeti's a solid card. I like it a lot. It's maybe even less solid in a Warlock deck though. If we get some imps, it'd be a 4/6. So if you can get a summoning portal on a Warlock, 3 drops become incredibly valuable because 3 drops basically become 1 drops. I think I'll still pick Yeti here because it's still early and we want to get some solid creatures, but in general it could be not quite worth it. So I like the Infernal a lot. The problem with the Infernal is it deals 1 damage to everyone. In general, Blood Imps are really strong in a Warlock deck, so you most of the time want to play. You can't drop 4 until turn 6. This can kill off your own guys. Scarlet Crusader is not a bad card. I think we want to get another taunt though, just in case we do. Are playing pretty aggro. We've got something to defend our little cheap guys so that they can't charge into them. I like the Crusader, but we'll probably get the taunt here. I kind of go with a different mentality on Warlocks. I value taunt a little more because you're generally going to have a lot less expensive creatures that are basically doing a lot of damage to the face. And so you need a few taunts basically to protect them, to keep them from being traded very easily. Soulfire is a great card. It's a good finisher. It's good killing off certain cards. It's great to play when you don't have any cards in your hand. I like Novice Engineer. I don't know how I feel about it in a Warlock deck though. Geomancer can be solid as well, but Soulfire is quite strong. And it's free essentially as well. Corruption's probably the worst spell that Warlocks have. Because essentially it kills an enemy at the start of the next turn. However, Tire Stream. Sorry, I'm updating the stream. Can be. Most of the time this card's pretty poor. Okay. Okay. Flame Imp though is incredibly strong. If you turn 1 Voidwalker and Flame Imp, you're basically set for a little bit. This card's really hard to kill off. Voidwalker protects it from any kind of charger. It does get hit by spells still, but still quite strong. Corruption's, I'm not a fan of Corruption. Fairy Dragon's great early game damage. Loot Hoarder's not bad for getting more into our cards, but most of the time Warlocks don't have a problem with card draws because they can always start life tapping. So we're going to go pretty aggressive if we can. So Summoning Portal, we'll pick it up. Priest of the Balloon, not a very good card. I would actually value the other one, the one that heals, the Naga whatever, that actually heals your other creatures a little more in this deck because it keeps your stuff on the board longer. But we'll pick up a Summoning Portal and see if we can start pumping out creatures. Cobra's decent. We don't really have much value for Alarmbot here. Alarmbot could bring out your Summoning Portal, possibly bring out your Taunt. We don't actually have any battle cries that are beneficial at this point, so you possibly could go Alarmbot, but Doomguard is just too good. Charger, that's a 5/7. You do discard 2 cards, however, if you don't have any cards in your hand, then you don't discard anything, so that card is stout. Great for ending the game, really great all around. I kind of like the Void Terror. The problem with Void Terror is that it gets silenced and it's toast if they have any kind of removal card. So Void Terror is really nice if you've got like Murlocs in your deck that summon a lot of little creatures. It just makes this a really strong big card, but overall it's not great. Sunwalker's good, but I think we want to kind of go... How aggro do we want to go? I like Sunwalker. Do I like Sunwalker in this deck? I don't mind Sunwalker in this deck. Pine Size is decent. If Pine Size was a 3/2 or a 2/3, Pine Size would be much better. And Pine Size used to be incredible, where its first minion costs 2 less. So it's not that strong of a card anymore because it's a 2/2. It doesn't kill 2/3s, and it does kill 3/2s, but you know, I wouldn't play a 3/2 if he's got a 2/2 out. I do need Taunt, but I don't know how big of taunts I need. This coming out as a 4-drop could be strong. We do see, again, with Taunt, you protect your Summoning Portal. You protect your damaging cards. So I value Taunt much, much higher in a Warlock deck than I do in just about any other deck. So Cultmaster can give us draws. Sense Demons, we don't have a ton of value for it yet. If we were to get a Jiraxis or something, that's badass. If we had some Blood Imps, Sense Demons is great for buffing up your creatures that way. But I think we want the Cultmaster with the card draw right now. Oh wow, yeah. It just depends on the class. Taunts are generally not very strong. Taunts have weaker stats in general than regular cards. I mean, this is a 4/5. It does have Divine Shield, but still, you know, 4/5 for 4 with Taunt. Sense Demons could actually be really valuable, but we'll go Cultmaster. Power Overwhelming, amazing card. If you can get Power Overwhelming on like a Worgen or something, you can own some shit. Silverback Patriarch is a very weak, very weak taunt. If you get a taunt, you want it to be able to kill stuff. This has 3 damage. This has 4. You know, generally the taunts can actually stop some stuff. The Voidwalker is the exception because, you know, it's a 1-drop. But Power Overwhelming is very strong. There's our healer we were talking about that could value if we have a lot of creatures on the board. Mortal Coil lets us draw. Versus Gurubashi. If we had the Infernals, Gurubashi can have a lot of value because it's going to do 1 damage to everything. It's going to enrage it. What was I saying? Since demons, yeah, I don't have any good demons. I think I'm going to go Mortal Coil. I think that with Voidwalker or some of these other cards, I'm going to be able to end up hitting something and have 1 health left on it. So I think I can get some draw that way. Otherwise, I don't value this card that highly. It could be decent depending on what we have out, and Gurubashi could be decent as well, possibly, but we'll take the removal. Man, late game basically kind of save us. We're behind. We don't have any way to come back. Blood Knight can steal Divine Shields. Most of the time people don't leave Divine Shields on the board. If they're going to play Divine Shield, if people are going to play Divine Shield, they're going to use it the same turn and then end Divine Shield. So I think we'll go Twisting Neither in case we're behind. So cost distribution, like my mana curve. I do most of the time. Basically, I would forsake the mana curve for more quality cards. So it just kind of depends. For the first like 10 to 15 picks, I usually don't. I kind of ignore this and pick basically the best cards available. And then once I get to the tougher choices, then I can kind of decide. So this fills out our curve, and it gives us Power Overwhelming just to destroy people. We don't really want a second summoning portal. Thorn Tiger is decent, but again, this is kind of where we're looking at, okay, this card's good, this card's good. Where do we fill out our curve better? Worgen's phenomenal. If you can Power Overwhelming a Worgen, get it enraged possibly, you're going to fucking destroy people. But you go the same on the other one. So this is where you can kind of look at your deck. Okay, so Raid Leader could be good. We don't have a lot of summoning creatures. Snapjaw's pretty mediocre, but you're like, okay, well, we've got a Raven Servant Hunter. We've also got a Cult Master. This gives us one extra creature we can actually sack into something and get a free card out of it. So, and the fact that this is a 3-drop lets us basically play Summoning Portal as a 1 cost. So we can eventually end up flooding the board with creatures like this and sacking them for more draws. So again, we can go Power Overwhelming, we can go Novice Engineer. I like the card draw, but Power Overwhelming can basically win you the game. Ends up being really strong. Big fan of that card. Again, if you can Power Overwhelming a Worgen, you can basically clear the whole board. Not a huge fan of the Felguard. It does give us a strong taunt at only 3 cost. Felguard's a card you would only play like at the end of the game when you're already at like 9 mana and you don't really need that 1 more mana. I do still like that card. It's a strong card for a 3-drop. We actually don't have that many spells. We've got 1, 2, what we got? 4, 5, 6 spells. Violet Teacher. Violet Teacher is decent for a 4-drop, but I think I want to go with the solid Demon instead. Somebody sends me an email. Yeah, so yeah, we're going Demon. Sorry, my buddy was texting me on Skype. He's trying to hit me up for making that highlight. So again, we could go late game with Boulder's Ogre. This is a very solid 6-drop. However, I think we want to go Mechanic. Again, we're kind of relying on this Cult Master with some taunts. We want to kind of flood the board as much as we can as a Warlock. I like the Ogre. I actually like the Ogre quite a bit. It's one of the most like stat efficient cards in the game. But I don't think that we're going to end up getting to late game. I think we want to be able to flood the board as much as we can. So Knife Juggler can end up being really strong with a Summoning Portal, just dropping a bunch of cheap creatures. But again, we can pick up another Felguard. We don't have, let's see, we really don't have 2s. It is a solid 3-2. What would we rather play? This is actually kind of a tough call. So I do like the Knife Juggler. Really, regardless of his ability, it is a 3-2 for 2 cost. We already have a Felguard. Felguard could screw us if we play it too early. Again, we can Voidwalker and guard this. So we'll go ahead and pick up the Knife Juggler. Ooze, great card. I'm really not a fan of the Succubus. Succubus can be good if you don't have cards in your hand, but as a 2-drop, generally you're going behind in cards, and the Succubus dies to any 3-2 as well, so they can basically trade any card for it. So Succubus is a very strong card stat-wise, but losing a card at the very beginning of the game generally can kind of screw you over. So Ooze is kind of a given as it is. So this is a tough call. We already have 2 Power Overwhelming, so that's easy. We probably aren't going to take another one. Silence is great, and the Cleric is great as well. I love the Cleric. It's probably one of my favorite cards, especially as a 3-drop. It can make stuff really strong. Spellbreaker can end up knocking out a Taunt, can knock out quite a few things, so I kind of want to pick it. Although, again, Chatterson Cleric on a Worgen on any number of cards can basically win you the game as well. I think I want to go Cleric. As much as I don't have a Silence yet, but I love the Cleric more than most cards, and I'm going to do it. So, as much as I don't want to pick it up, and I want to pick up the Spellbreaker, my mind, basically, my intelligence tells me to pick up the Spellbreaker because it could be more valuable, but I just like getting free trades, basically buffing something up and making a trade. So we're taking Cleric. So Corion's a pretty weak card. It dies too easily as a 7-drop. Depends if we want to go aggro early and get cards, or we want to play Frost Elemental and freeze something. I feel like most likely we're going to want the draw in the early game aggression. As a 6-drop, this is decent, but it is just a 5/5, and the freeze doesn't really help us that much because we don't have really many spells. We don't have any AoE. We basically just delay its attack for a turn. It's not like we could really kill it while we froze it. So I like the Hoarder as well. I like all of these. Shadow Flame's most likely going to be my pick because we don't have any AoE removal. Shadow Flaming anything with 4 or 5 damage is ridiculous. Doomguard could end up winning the game for us possibly, but Shadow Flame is incredibly strong. So Frostwolf Warlord, great card. Sacrificial Pact is pretty mediocre. Raid Leader is pretty mediocre. Yeah, again, yeah, Power Overwhelming, Shadow Flame, very strong card. Warlord, this will be kind of our end game. We should have a lot of creatures out, so Warlord gets a lot of value. Is again a tough call. Do we want removal? Do we want the removal and the heal, or do we want the Cult Master for more card draw? I kind of want the removal with the Soulfire. It's basically a free card. It's great for ending the game with. We have 1 Soulfire. I might take a second Cult Master so we don't have to life tap as much. We don't have any drain lives. It's a tough call. Probably going to go with... I think I want the removal actually. What do you think? Anyone have a say? I do value Cult Master pretty highly, but we already have one of them. We might not need a second one. So I'm kind of leaning towards Drain Life. Kill something off. Heal us up. I really like Soulfire. The odds of us we could get 2 Soulfires in our hand though. If we want to, if we get to the point where we're top decking, and we could basically play Soulfire if we're basically playing all of our cards, and yeah, I think I want the Drain Life. The 2 heal isn't that much. Hell yeah, get a Blood Imp. So I really want a Sinjin Shieldmaster, but Blood Imp has way too much value. So fuck, I want all of these cards actually, but hell yeah, 100 followers. I was at 98 a second ago. Updated? Mine hasn't updated yet. Sit at 98. 98, refreshing. Nice, 100. Sweet, thanks man. We got to go a Blood Imp. I want Sinjin, but you've got to have Blood Imps in this kind of deck. So there's another Cleric. Versus a Charger, meh. Cleric all day. Voidwalker versus Sense Demons. So we only have 1. So we got Blood Imp, Flame Imp, Voidwalker, 3 demons there, 4 demons, Felguard. So the problem with Sense Demons is it could give us stuff we want, we don't want. We don't really want Doomguard. We don't really want Felguard with Sense Demons. So that kind of screws us. Ghoul can actually be really strong as well. Versus a cheap Taunt. Cheap Voidwalker. I think Ghoul's got more upside, a lot more upside actually, than any of the others. Voidwalker is just early game, basically protect your cards. So, since demons can screw us by giving us basically demons we don't want, and it basically wastes the turn, so we'll go Ghoul. A-Bomb, I like A-Bomb a lot. I don't like A-Bomb in a Warlock deck, because if you get an A-Bomb with a Blood Imp, then it screws you, kills off your own guys. I actually almost want to go Cold Light just for the free draw. We're already at... Violet Teacher is the 4. We do have some spells, but not many. It is a solid 4, a 3/5 for 4. It does give us creatures that would be 1/1s that would be feeding our Ghoul or feeding our Cult Master. Cold Light's such a bullshit card in general, though. All right, we'll go Violet Teacher. Yeah. I will say that Oracle has helped me in the past. I think it is a bad card in general, but it has been beneficial to me sometimes. So just throwing that out there. All right, let's look at this deck real quick. All right, so we've got one Ooze. We've got a fair number of early game cards. If we can get out ahead, we should be able to stay out ahead against pretty much anything but mages. Turn 5, Priest would be able to Holy Nova and kill off a lot of our stuff. Good number of 2s. All those are strong. We wouldn't play Felguard turn 3. We wouldn't play Ghoul turn 3. Could play Worgen, Hunter, Clerics. Yeah, overall it's a pretty decent deck. We didn't get a single Shadow Bolt. Wouldn't have minded having a Hellfire. Hellfire is hit or miss sometimes though. We did get a Shadow Flare though. It's very strong.